Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Maya. In today's video, we're going to be going over 3 beta behaviors that not only lessen your value as a man, but also you doing that to yourself by doing these 3 things that will naturally put a woman in a position of losing respect for you. So if you're intrigued this far, stay to the end of today's video. And before we get into it, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. And let's get into today's video. Now, starting off with number 1, this one is highly important. And I really do believe men are struggling with it more than ever. And it's not necessarily your guys' fault because it's out there, but your choice as well as overconsumption of lustful behaviors, thoughts, as well as actions, how that actually puts you in a beta position in a relationship, as well as the most important relationship you have with yourself. I think when it comes to being in a very lust-driven society where sex is over-glamorized as well as there's so much sexual exploitation and a lot of provocative nature that's being applauded. Now, for one person, it may be empowering, and for the other person, it could be the very destruction that is keeping them stuck in a pattern of complete weakness as a man. And I think if a man does not have self-control over his sexual urges, as well as his choices, whether you're in a relationship or you're single, you being able to practice his self-control when it comes to your lust is everything. It's natural to have sexual desires and it's very normal. However, when that has control over you as a man, as well as your choices, you are giving up your free will to something that isn't necessarily benefiting you or the future person you're going to be with or with now. A woman will lose respect for you, especially like a good quality woman, if your phone is full of porn, full of half-naked women on Instagram, Twitter, you name it, TikTok, and you're giving your energy to this sort of woman, as well as the distraction it causes in your life. This is beta behavior that needs to stop in your life if you even want to have respect in your life. Respect for yourself, because let's be real, men, when you close porn, you spend minutes, hours looking at half-naked women. How do you feel about yourself? Accomplished? Probably not. So that's why I really want to highlight this, because I think it's something that a lot of men struggle with. And I'm not saying this to shame you, but for you guys to own up to this behavior and face it by choosing something else that's actually benefiting your life as well as providing value to you. Because if you continue with this behavior, it's not only becoming a part of your unconscious programming, it's also damaging to any future relationship you're with. If you value a woman based upon her sexuality alone, this has a huge impact on a man's sex drive, actually, when it comes to interacting with real life women, because they're now inadequate because you've been looking at all these Photoshop filtered women that aren't real or will ever be in your real life or will ever even care about you. So use your time wisely, practice self-control if you want to be perceived in a way that's respectful to women. Now, second to that is a man who seeks female validation and approval for his self-worth alone. Now, this is very dangerous for a man to only signify his self-worth based upon how many women finds him attractive or how many women he's talking to at once or is sleeping with. This isn't something that's even a quality type of person. They're dictating their value upon how other people perceive them and like them. Because where do you come into that equation if you're giving your whole self-worth away to a person's perception of you? Or approval of you, for that matter? It becomes very clear that man lacks confidence as well as direction of his life. And that validation is just a transactional thing that makes you feel better for a short period, but you're actually suffering by you not owning up to why you don't feel good enough as a man. And perhaps why you don't feel good enough as a man is because you're throwing your entire self-identity and worth away. And these types of men will go to great lengths to please a woman and taking action just to get approval. Approval that's not even coming from his own authenticity, but coming out of a place of deep lack within himself. And women see right through this type of man, which will either attract to you women who will easily manipulate you, control you, or make you feel even worse than before. And no man will ever thrive in that position. So get yourself back up. Start doing the inner work on yourself. Start taking care of yourself. And please stop giving your self-worth to another person. Now, last but not least is a man who is passive and submissive within his behavior, especially when it comes to taking leadership of your life, making clear choices, and being assertive in the way you speak. For if you can't do this for your own life, then you will not only feel weak, but you will be perceived as weak and lacking direction in your life. While every relationship should have equal mutual respect, when you're the type of partner who is always passive and submissive and doesn't feel like you're worthy of even having a say, the relationship falls out of balance because of the ways you're not showing up for yourself as well as your partner by being truthful and honest on what you are actually wanting and desiring. And this can look like a man lacking personal boundaries, as well as how his personal boundaries are allowing other people to disrespect him because you're showing people it's okay. If you can't stand up for yourself and be assertive when necessary, especially when it's coming from a very authentic place, then you're doing that person a disservice because they don't even know how to treat you. If you're treating yourself like shit, like garbage, a person may feel like that's exactly how they can treat you and get away with it. Not only is this a beta behavior, but it also showcases to a woman that you have not been able to embody masculinity. Being passive and submissive is something that we all can access, of course. But when it comes to your masculinity, there's a lot of power there. And a lot of men are fearful of stepping into that power, or they've been shamed for it in the past, or gotten into trouble because of this. A lot of people can be intimidated by a person's self-worth, because a lot of people haven't accessed it. But that does not give you an excuse to remain in a state of indecisiveness over who you are as a man. If you have not decided your life, if you can't decide who you want to be, people will mold you into whoever they want you to be. And that does not come with your best interest in mind. So break the pattern of putting your needs second to another person and stop falling short on these areas of your life that really and truthfully just require consistency, as well as action, determination, and discipline to make appropriate change that is actually serving you in the long term rather than the short term. Sometimes the easier options are the ones that come with the greatest price. For if you can stand firm in discomfort and know that it's molding you and shaping you into a version of yourself you may or may have not met before, you're doing the work. And that will be highly respected, not only within yourself, but in how women perceive you, by giving them the foundation to walk upon, as well as what is okay and not okay. And how a woman treats you is dictated on how you treat yourself. So learning to be assertive when it comes to protecting the man you are. You're allowed to protect yourself, and you don't have to protect yourself by folding and crumbling. That's the opposite of doing that. But by being assertive and in complete knowingness of the type of man you are and how you live your life. So stop lowering yourself, especially around women, and stand firm in who you are, for that is a very attractive quality. So if you guys are wanting any one-on-one coaching with me where we can go over certain topics like this or whatever you feel like is important right now in your life, my email is down below. I would love to hear from you. And if you guys like today's video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.